Yes. Hello and welcome. It's Catherine Colas here from Simply Hormones, and I'm here to talk to you today with a very special guest. Her name is Sam Evans, and she co-founded Joe Divine, an online sex toy company, with her husband Paul in 2007. They sell only skin-safe sex toys and sexual lubricants. And having a professional background in nursing, working with many healthcare professionals in the NHS and private practice to help advise patients about regaining sexual function and enjoying sexual intimacy and pleasure through the use of suitable sex toys, dilators, and pH-balanced sexual lubricants. As a menopausal woman, she advises people going through a natural menopause or as a result of medical or surgical treatment, including post-cancer, on ways to enjoy sexual intimacy and pleasure. She passionately believes that it is always possible to enjoy pleasurable sex, and going through the menopause doesn't mean your sex life has to stop. So welcome, Sam. It's a pleasure to have you today and on any day. And I'm sure we can wax lyrical for a very long time on this subject, but I'll let you take the floor and carry on with it.
Okay, well, thank you, Catherine, for inviting me to talk about this. This is something that I'm very, very passionate about, as I'm a menopausal woman who really, really likes sex, but my body hasn't always liked it, certainly in my younger years. And I'm actually a little bit obsessed about vagina health, because that was my problem in my 20s and 30s. My intimate health was actually destroyed by using poor sexual lubricants, which led to vaginismus, and that impacted upon our sex life, because vaginismus is a very painful condition. So basically, the first thing I always say to people going through the menopause is, you know, the most important is your intimate health, because I don't think a lot of people realise it. Suddenly they're hit with vaginal dryness and they've never experienced it before. And so they're getting recurrent infections like thrush or bacterial vaginosis, they're getting cystitis, they're getting urinary tract infections. And a lot of people don't realise that actually we need the estrogen inside our vaginas and inside our bladders to actually help us keep it happy and healthy.
Yes.
So depletes over time during the menopause.
Yeah, I thought I had a disease when I first discovered that. Thought there was something wrong with me.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a bit obsessed about my vaginal health because of my issues of having all these recurrent infections in my 20s and 30s. So I've always sort of been on top of that.
Yeah.
I've used so many different things to try and overcome the itching or the soreness or the discharge or the smell, not realising that actually these intimate products were often causing the problems or actually exacerbating it. So that's why I'm so passionate about this. And actually having a happy, healthy vagina will lead to better sex. That's the ultimate thing. So for women, I always say to them, you know, basically, if you're experiencing vaginal dryness, then, you know, sexual lubricants can transform your sex life, but only good sexual lubricants.
Yes.
Products that don't contain glycerin, glycols or parabens, things that are dyed, things that are flavoured, they're fine for oral sex. I wouldn't recommend for penetrative sex. Products that warm you up or cool you down. We've even got glittery lubes now, because obviously we all need that. So it's quite frustrating. And then obviously we have this intimate hygiene products. We've got them everywhere across the high street, online. We're being deluged, and the industry is growing rapidly. It's worth billions and billions of pounds, because women are experiencing intimate problems, and actually they're turning to the chemist or the supermarket, grabbing the bottle of wash or a cream or a douche. They're actually trying to do it to soothe their itching, and they're exacerbating their problems or even causing it, rather than going to the GP because they're too embarrassed. Or they don't bother the GP, because I think this is the norm. Now they've hit menopause. I think this is often when I have to put up with it. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yes, and even in some circumstances, they might find a celebrity who's recommending particular products.
We have this now. We have this menopausal website, celebrities, influencers, beauty brands. You know, we're being deluged. Unfortunately, menopause is on brand, and people are making money out of it. The frustrating thing for me is when I hear people say, well, I tried a lube and it stung, or it stung my partner, and actually it put us off. And I said, well, you actually need to try something that's good, because the reason why it stung is probably because of the ingredients that were in it, or it gave me thrush, or it made me itch.
Yes.
So that's the most important thing, is that I always say to people, check the ingredients, make sure that you're not buying a product that contains these ingredients that are going to cause you problems. So many women tell me they get thrush, and it's actually glycerin in the product they're using, be it a wash, a vaginal moisturizer, lubricant, something that they're actually using as well. And the same thing for, things that you're washing your body with as well. Bath bombs, they should be banned. They're so terrible. I said my nose always itches when I go past Lush, let alone, goodness, I would never allow anyone in my vagina or vulva. So, I think you end up becoming your own detective in midlife or when you're going through the menopause and actually looking after your intimate health. But you've got to know where to start, really. So I've written extensively about this on the website, and maybe too much, but I just want to educate people because it makes such a difference.
Yes, now I'm following you on Twitter and always commenting and supporting what you say, because it's such valuable information, because there is so much rubbish out there, and that is being just perpetuated round and round and round, and it's not good for women, and it's trial and error, sadly, that women discover and understand that actually they don't need that rubbish. This is what they need. Yeah.
The sad thing as well, they're targeting young girls now as well. So if you're starting off that young, and then you're going to end up with problems, let alone menopause women or people who've had cancer. So, it's really important that you do your research and you actually read and find out and try different things, because obviously what works for me might not work for you. So, that's important. Some lubricant brands will actually send you out a sample to try, and that's really, really good. I always give out sample talks, talks. So that's really, really important. The second thing I would say to people is communication with your partner, whatever their gender. And actually, don't just stop. If sex is feeling painful or just not the same, then say to them, look, it doesn't feel the same, but let's see what the problem is, and we can actually try and overcome this. I think this is where the communication falls down, and then it's the people then stop being intimate in any way.
Yes,
even kiss and cuddle. Because as soon as their partner touches them, they think, they're going to want sex. And that's not always the case. But if you communicate that to your partner, then they will hopefully understand. And also, a lot of partners don't want to hurt you. My husband in particular, he says, is this hurting you? And sometimes, yes, it can feel uncomfortable, because I still occasionally get vaginismus. And so I actually say, well, can we actually stop? Being honest with your partner, don't carry on having painful sex, because you're just doing more damage. And it's not going to be pleasurable. And then you'll get into this vicious circle of, you identify that painful sex is not going to be pleasurable, and then actually that's not going to help your libido at all.
And I think there's so many things going on at menopause. I myself did an interview about intimacy, and that all I really wanted was for somebody to give me a warm hug, a cuddle. And I didn't feel I could do that with my husband, because what you've just said, women automatically feel that it's going to lead to sex. And it's about having that communication. But going through menopause as well can be so difficult, communicating the things, the emotions that you're feeling. It's a bizarre situation to be in. And of course, men are affected as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, then the most important thing I also say to people is have regular orgasms. It seems to be something people give up on. I'm saying, just because you can't have penetrative sex, if that's the sex you have, go off and have a regular orgasm on your own, or do it with your partner. Because, this is actually going to improve the health of the vagina. It promotes the blood flow, it promotes the lubrication. It feels good because it releases all those endorphins that actually make you happier. It reduces your stress, makes you look younger, helps you sleep, helps with pain, boosts your immunity. We need that at the moment. There's so many things. And also for men, regular orgasms for men actually can reduce their risk of prostate cancer, because you're improving the prostate health. So that, and they're free, orgasms. But you may find that you are struggling a little bit to orgasm. It might be taking longer, it doesn't feel the same. And that's why I'm saying that sex toys can really, really help. One of the simplest things is a little bullet vibe. This one looks like a lipstick. They're so simple to use, either on your own, use it on your clitoris, use it on your nipples. You can use it on a male partner, up and down the shaft of the penis, around the head, use it on their nipples. Really simple. It's a non-threatening thing that you can introduce into your relationship or use on your own in the bathroom or the shower, or just lying in bed at night before your partner comes to bed. It will enable you to actually have an orgasm, or a better orgasm. It will feel stronger. And then obviously sex toys actually that can help with vaginal tightness. They can help stretch the tissues of the vagina. They're more pleasurable to use than perhaps medical dilators that are NHS. So we have silicone dilators too at Joe Divine. So, and sex toys you can use if, penetrative sex isn't possible. We do have sex toys for somebody with a penis. So, you can have his and her sex toys, which is good. It maintains that intimacy. It's fun. That's the most important thing. Sex is meant to be fun and noisy and messy, and consensual. And we actually forget about that. It becomes this chore. And that's what I try to tell people. It's supposed to be fun.
Yes.
have some fun trying things, and one thing might not work for you, but the next thing might. So
Yes.
take the focus off penetration, mutual masturbation, sort of, maybe blindfolded, sex play, because that's good, because it heightens your senses, so your sense of touch and taste and smell
Yes.
and hearing. And you don't know what's going to happen as well. And it's fun to do on a partner, it's fun to have it done on you. And that's really, there's so many things you can actually do that are, take the focus off penetration. So that's,
Yeah. I think that's brilliant, a brilliant thought, because that it does become a chore, doesn't it? It's this thing that we've done all our lives, and now all of a sudden, because I don't enjoy it anymore, we're not going to do it anymore. But just taking a different viewpoint, different perception, it's a game changer, isn't it? Yeah. And I think that's a good point to leave on at the moment, Sam. And I know we're coming back in a few days to have another conversation, because we're going to be talking about the male aspect of when their partners are going through menopause and when they're having their own sexual problems themselves. And I so look forward to that. But for the moment, thank you very much, Sam Evans from Joe Divine, and this is Catherine Colas from Simply Hormones. Until the next time.
Thank you.